Thank you for sticking around. Dr. Kang was delayed at the airport due to the inclement weather. So I will be presenting on his behalf. I'm Dr. Yang. I'm from UTEP El Paso. So we heard a lot of very interesting talks in terms of the importance of water conservation and how to detect the reservoir, etc., etc. But from our perspective, we are interested in how actually people respond to it, because there will be some policy implication and also modification of their behavior. And one of the things that people use to communicate the importance of water to the public will be through what we call conservation or advertising campaign. So the 1 minute 30 seconds commercial was done by Unilever in India using the language that are familiar to local consumers. And they try to communicate the idea of, why is that important to conserve water. Yes. So all these conservation campaign will be useful to change how people perceive the issue importance and the many other important things that kind of help people to do the water conservation. According to environmental scientists, their research has been focusing on what are some of the psychological, social, and behavior factors that could affect the conservation behavior. And some of the psychological factors, including consumer attitude, consumer belief, and what consumers think about the norms of the water conservation. We also have some research focusing on the personal environment and also a sense of a responsibility toward this type of behavior. Okay. From the communication and advertising perspective, we are more interested in the advertising appeal and also the media effects that could actually lead to people's intention to do water conservation or any type of conservation behavior. So according to the research, as you see here by Baca et al. 2024, they actually kind of look at the social media engagement, how it can actually be evoked by the creativity of the advertising appeal, as well as the different media effects. And as you can see here, several important things about the predictive model is based on how consumers think about the conservation issue in terms of their attitude toward water conservation, attitude toward the empathy expression, and their perceived behavior control of this type of issue. So based on the previous research, we developed 3 research questions. We want to find out how people actually respond to it. We don't want to kind of study the probably the more scientific sides of the issue. We want to focus on when we actually communicate the message to the public, how they actually are going to respond to it. And that's our first research question. We also look at longitudinally, do we find any public response variation over the year? And how about the overall public sentiment over the year? And that's our research question number 3. What we did, we used YouTube comments downloader, which you have to purchase for a certain amounts of money, dollars. And you can download the comments before the YouTube video. And it kind of helps us to get the data real quick. After that, we put the data into a QDA miner and WordStack, which are the text mining software, and allow us to study the discourses generated after people see the ads. Okay, so this is our sample. We use the keywords water conservation advertising. We get 83 video from YouTube, and under each we have a total of 8,292 comments based on the group number 1 and the ads, their comments. For group number 2, we use the water conservation campaign. We got 72 ads, and the comments that we generated will be 16,144. And this is our the one that we collapse as our discourses that allow us to kind of analyze how people actually respond. We also look at the channel where the YouTube was coming from, and these are actually based on how many people who subscribe, and probably an indication of impacts, right? So we have some channel that has a lot of subscriber, like 32 325,000, and sometimes we have a channel that only have a 36 subscriber. So indicates that the potential reach or the impacts of the subscriber of each channel. We also look at the numbers of the ads views, which is another metric in terms of measuring how the ads actually impact on people by the numbers of the people who actually see the conservation campaign. We also have how many people actually like the ads. So these are some of the data showing that, whether the ads are liked. Usually, an ads that are liked are more likely to create impacts. So these are some of the metrics that we can consider in terms of studying our results. So our first research question asked the public perception about the water conservation campaign. And what we did, we simply looked at the discourses or the post-exposure responses under each ads, and we find out that consumer or the viewer actually know that what these campaigns are communicating. They have a keyword such as water, safe, good, and these are the things that people actually put down when they write about the campaign. And it's actually a very convenient way for us in advertising that we want to know what people actually think rather than what we think whether the campaign will work. We kind of proceed to work on the key phrase, and we find out that people can actually identify what they have seen in the campaign. And for example, the keyword, key phrase such as safe water, water safe, safe water safe, and a bunch of post exposure responses such as heart touching, a nice video. And this is a list of key phrase extraction coming from our discourses. So some of you probably ask, what's the purpose of doing this? Remember, we want to find out what people really think. Instead of saying that we have an excellent campaign, but we need to kind of present our post-exposure data. So these are some of the things that people can extract and when they see all this campaign, and some of this can actually generate insights for us to either develop new campaigns or modify our existing campaign. So our second research question, talking about more longitudinally how people respond to the water conservation campaign, and we look at the years, and we can find out that different key phrases they have a different fluctuation. In a way that it also tell us over the year what people think about the conservation issue. For example, 2022 safe water is important, but this kind of salts kind of dying down a little bit and kind of re-emergent in 2025. We do the same for another key phrases and showing that the longitudinally, all the variation in terms of how people responses, and another. The implication for this, again, kind of help us to know what people are really concerned about. We can actually develop a campaign kind of meeting what they are thinking about important. And we can even modify the campaigns that we are doing to kind of meet people's needs. The text mining data that we have also allow us to do what we call a topic modeling, which actually kind of based on what people responded, and we kind of converge that into some topics. So for example, we have a conservation behaviors, corporate social responsibility, and responses to the ads. And this actually allow us to analyze the data a little bit further by kind of correlate with the longitudinal data. So we can see that for conservation behavior in 2022, 2021, these are the things that people are concerned about and showing up when they respond to the advertising campaign. How about corporate social responsibility? We find out the variation, and they also kind of help us in a way to generate or design a campaign that would be kind of resonate with what people feel. How about the responses to the ads? And the longitudinal data also kind of share with us the variation over the years. Okay. So the text mining, the QDA miner also give us a bubble heat map, which allow us to also look into the variation over the years and to see which topics are most relevant or kind of most effective, and people kind of can associate the campaign with, when they see the ads. Okay. So how about the public sentiment? According to the key phrases, we identify some of the sentiment that's showing that how people feel once they see the ads. Some of them are positive, such as heart touching, nice video, good message. But we also have some dislike the video, and but overall you can see that overall they are positive and showing that the conservation campaign can actually generate some positive sentiment about the causes, which is water conservation and the ads. And in a way that we want the ads to actually have a positive responses because it's going to make the campaign more effective. Okay, so again, when correlate with the longitudinal data, it can also kind of give us some sense of what type of a sentiment can be generated after seeing the ads over the year. Okay, so these are some more example here. By using this text mining software, which also allow us as an advertiser to look at campaign-specific sentiment. So for example, I can actually run analysis on the uni-level ads that I just showed you, and it kind of share with you, with us as a campaign creative team. This is the thing that people can generate it once they see the ads. You can actually compare this with the overall conservation campaign to see whether your ads creative is in line with the conservation campaign trends or is kind of a digress from that. So this is another example. We can use a key phrase that allow us to do that kind of analysis for generating insights. So what are some of the takeaway that we get from the research? It's very important to monitor how people respond because there will be policy implication because voters, if they think water conservation is important, they're going to vote for someone who actually kind of support that. So if you don't persuade the public, you cannot actually get the scientific facts out to them. And conservation campaign is a very useful way of communicating that kind of appeal to the public. The longitudinal monitoring, that's our second insight, is going to help for conservation campaign, NGO, government agency, to think about what would be the best way to raise people's awareness about certain conservation issue. And that's can be communicated through the conservation campaign. The final insights that we have is that in our research, we didn't find a lot of government agency or NGO, they open up their YouTube channel for commenting. And that kind of create problems that, for them, they do want to hear and know what people think. So by removing that kind of a commenting function, I think government agency, they kind of give up the opportunity of communicating and listening to the public. So that might be something that agency, NGO groups, they can do, to better listen to what people think. The contribution of our paper or project, we look at, we kind of demonstrate what computation data analysis can do to kind of analyze a campaign in a real field situation. So it's not a laboratory research. It's actually let people actually watch the ads and they kind of listen to and monitoring, analyzing what they think. However, we only have a two keywords. So our data, as you can see, are limited, and that also is going to be kind of a limit the usefulness of our research. And in our paper, we focusing on descriptive data. We don't try to say, inferential, view in terms of what thing can predict from A to B. So this might be something we can do in the future, but not at this stage. Thank you so much for your attention.
Yes, thank you. And I know we've run a little bit over, about 5 minutes past noon, but if there are any questions.
Was your input data only YouTube comments?
Yes.
It was YouTube commentary.
Yes.
So it wasn't like survey data or survey research.
No, it's not a survey data. We only use YouTube comments, and we kind of believe that that's a good way to see how people respond. Yeah. So but that would be a limitation of our project. Yes. Yes.
have you thought about potentially using other sources, such as X or even TikTok or all of these? Because I feel there's a lot of commentary, and I think there's a lot, maybe additional data, social data that could come.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Yeah, definitely. I know a lot of researchers, they are using social media extraction. There's also a lot of comments that allow people to monitoring. Yeah, the findings. So, to kind of follow what you think, maybe social media followed by probably traditional mainstream legacy media and the actual comments, and with all the three cluster groups of data, we might be able to generate more insights. Yeah, and prediction. Thank you for the question. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Were you able to go back, or is there
Yes.
plans on comparing this data to actual water savings?
Behavior.
Yeah, between the public perception, we're assuming the assumption is positive public reception. It will lead to water savings.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
is that actually what's happening?
I think that's an excellent question and probably a very good research direction. We can definitely by looking at all the data, and supposedly all the exposure to the campaign will have effects on the attitude and even conservation behavior intention. And if we kind of study and correlate or probably regression, to the actual consumption reduction, of the water, that will be, very interesting.
It would,
direction
yeah,
to go.
I agree.
Yeah, but thank you for bringing this up.